The news coming out from a Friday afternoon was not a big surprise, but also feel like I can learn something from it. First of all, I feel must be that the implementation of the tight policy was not working as best as that the policymakers were hoping. Right? One policy background that I don't see too much of a discussing in the crypto space was this carbon neutral background, which right now is hitting Chinese social discussion room everywhere, right? This electricity cut. Those are very serious things. Like think about, you're going to wonder that why China government were so much into this. It's in a way that that's the only place where U.S.-China reach certain agreement and they would like to work together. Okay, so now suppose that's the real goal. Look, Beijing doesn't like the crypto mining anyway. We have our own e-cny. It's rolling out soon. So I don't see why they are not doing it. The fact that they're just escalating the intensity, just showing that it maybe things were not as good as they all thought. So they just do it.
So part of it, as you've explained, is their frustration with the electricity and energy usage in mining, that they had banned mining, but still there is a significant output of energy that is still dedicated to crypto mining. They're frustrated by that, so they want to clamp down on that even more. But what about Evergrande? Is this also a lot of people are talking about, concern about capital outflow, as it's, really on the heels of what we saw, rise in concerns about Evergrande and roiling international financial markets.
Totally.
Could it be related to that as well?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, there are two parts of it, right? The mining is just spending electricity to get the coin. There are a lot of activity are trading, whatever way, right? We kind of like there's a exchange. We could in a way that transfer the wealth outside. Although that it's I do not see a big outflow. Just looking at the exchange reserve, to be honest, that's the parameter that typically I saw, whether successfully transferring out. But obviously, I was interesting. You mentioned Evergrande. There was one day hitting the news was that when Evergrande, made every the world financial market, Wall Street, really frightened, and then at the same time the Bitcoin price go down, and I was quite asking myself what's going on, what's the linkage, and somebody was mentioning to me maybe somebody is selling it, and I just don't know. I have no idea. But I do know is that what you are saying is correct in the sense that whoever is still having money or wealth in China, they could use the cryptocurrency to move the wealth out, and the fact that as long as that route is still there, I do think that the government would take a serious attack on it.
How much do you think the ban really has an impact on Chinese nationals in China? There's a lot of people who hold crypto in China.
Good question. So I read the official documents carefully. The implementation on that part was not clear. Like you cannot, whether you can own, that's a different question, seems to be. You cannot trade. You cannot, you cannot engage in it, and also that the servicer, right, all these OKEX or 破币, right? It's illegal to provide the service. Now, what will be whether your ownership is illegal, whether that I'm not sure. I would guess that at some point that if the government agencies see a very clear, effective outcome from it, I do think that it will not go that far. It's there's not so much of the benefit by cracking down the ownership and confiscate it. I just do not see the good upside of it.
We've been monitoring this for a while. How do you see the rise and the uptake of crypto, not only in China markets, but in international financial markets? How do you see that integration, and do you see changes in how we should be thinking about global economy?
At this point, I'm still, I didn't change my view at all. I feel like the development of a crypto space is super fast on some dimension, but almost zero progress on certain dimension, and which means that there's some dimension which I feel like already being impressed, and they're still going like really, really far. For instance, DeFi, I was impressed initially, and they really, really go very far. But in the end, it's about trading, and it's in some sense that economists will say that helped people who had different beliefs on certain things, and then they trade. But that's very much not real. Not real. So I was hoping to see more blockchain applications. That part, very slow. And for that part, actually, I think the China approach perhaps will go faster. That's my hope, and that's why that I think e-cny, and then it's supported the blockchain endeavors. Like there are various different kinds of support and may have a brighter future. Let me put it that way. So in terms of the whole economic financial system, it does, because of the one direction that they're pushing, it's rises too fast in a, I could say it's a slightly negative way, so that the U.S. regulator, BIS, I was talking to all these people. Everybody is concerned. I'll give you one example. It's just not conceivable to understand why do we need so much of a stable coin? Because we do not see these stable coins are buying coffees. Right, so you're going to wonder that all these stable coins, what are they doing? And as any reasonable economist will say, fine, there has to be some use of it. Then you look around it, and then you also see what's the backing of it. Then you see some issues. Finally, let me add one thing, is that in the history that the so-called private money, it's conceptually it's just not a ending well a phenomenon. So that's why that I think that just to try to explain to you why regulators get uneasy on it. But I do think that if the entire ecosystem that develop more on the good side of DeFi, I think they will win some of economists' heart by seeing that wow, there is some innovation there, and we can export some of the innovation to real world.